Hello everyone, my name is Pelagia Yu. I'm a reader in Orthodox of Taiwan. Now, today I will introduce Crucifixion. We will see the slides show first. Now we will find the first icon I will introduce. Wait. From the first icon. So we see this Jesus carry the cross, and the second one we see the person is he helping Jesus carry the cross. He's from the Cyrenian. His name is Simon. And here we see the Roman soldiers strip Jesus and put the scarlet rope around him. And then we will see next icon. Now we see this icon. After the Roman soldiers, they branding a crown of thorns. They put it on Jesus' head. Here you can see. And this icon is the same with last icon, but the color a little bit different because I download from the internet. I never saw original one. I don't know which one is more close, the original, the icons, so I keep in both. And in the Taiwan, I don't have many icons, so most of the icon picture I download from the internet. The quality is not so good. And here we can see this icon, they painted Jesus, the body, so huge. And we see Jesus' body painted very huge, but it will not make people feel scared, but feel tender and full of love and humility. Why Jesus go on the cross? The way is not like other criminals be dragged on the cross. And we see next icon, you will understand. So we see this icon, Jesus went on cross by himself because he willingly to do this for us and for the entire universe. We see this icon, they put scarlet rope on Jesus. Here you can see. They put the stuff on Jesus' right hand and kneel. Here you can see. They kneeling down on Jesus. And they mocked him and say, "Hail, King of the Jews." Then we can see next icon. This icon we see Jesus open his arms, and from the book of John, Jesus saw his mother and the disciple who he loved standing here. He said to his mother, "Woman, look, here is your son." This icon is in the monastery. Why we see angel on this icon? I mentioned before, icon has a deep meaning beyond the time and space, including the visible and invisible. That's why we can see the angel in this icon. here we see the one soldier pierced Jesus' side with a spear, and the blood and water flowed out immediately. Also in the book, Matthew mentioned his head. They put a charge. Then we can see here his head. Put a charge against King, which you read. This is Jesus here. You will see means Jesus Christ, and this is Jesus, the King of Jews. Then here we see a piece of wood put here. Thinking about in what position more painful, in squat position or standing. You know, without this piece of wood, Jesus' whole body will fall because of the gravity, and Jesus cannot take a breath because he needs strength. Put himself upright to take a breath, and Jesus will die soon. But their purpose was to torture Jesus, let Jesus not die so fast. And we can see here the next icon. Here we see a person. Why this Roman soldier has a halo? Do you remember in the book of Luke? Now, when the centurion saw what happened, he praised God and said, "Certainly this man was innocent." This person, his name is Longinos. He is a saint. Also, Matthew mentioned these things. Matthew mentioned centurion and those with him who were guarding Jesus saw the earthquake and what took place. They were extremely terrified and said, "Truly, this one was God's son." But you will say, because he said this sentence, truly, this one was God's son, then make he as a saint? Of course not. He became a saint because he has sacrificed for Jesus and become a martyr. And we will see next icon. When first time I saw this icon, I saw so beautiful icon. How come ruined by these things? Because I think who destroy this icon? They make a hole here and then put the air condition here. So I asked Father Jonah. He tell me when people clean the icon, they clean the surface. Finally, we're leaving a small area of the surface to show original area. That's why we can see these things. So this is older icon, but they do the cleaning, look very new. And this icon we also see a spear and a sponge filled with the vinegar. They put it on a stick. Also here we can see the sun and moon. On this icon, we see many women who had followed Jesus from Galilee and give him support were also there, watching from a distance. Among them were Mary, Magdalene, and Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of son of Zebedee. This icon we see sun and moon. On this icon in the book of Matthew, they mention from the 6th hour was darkness over the land until 9th hour. We know ancient people, they do not have a watch. They use the sundial. 6th hour as a middle of the day, so it's very bright, impossible become the darkness. And also in the Luke mention, when they came to the place that is called the skull, they crucified the Jesus. You can see the scroll here. Among with the criminals, one of on the right side and the other on Jesus' left side. And we see this icon. Every Jesus crucifixion icons, you see a little bit different. But the Byzantine icon painting as rigorous, although some pattern arrangement is a little bit different, but the overall theological meaning is the same. This icon in Greece, the island Crete, we see the Holy Mother was so sad, called her body so weak and cannot standing, and need other woman holding on her body. And we also see small mistake here. We can see Jesus' feet should be separated, and this icon, by the Western influence, we see Jesus' overlapping feet. And this icon, one of the criminals was hanging there, railed at him, saying, "Aren't you the Christ?" This one said to Jesus, "Save yourself and us." But the other rebuked him, saying, "Don't you fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we rightly so, for we are getting what we deserve for what we did. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said to Jesus, "Remember me when you come in your kingdom." And Jesus said to him, "I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in the paradise." And here have two criminals hanging on the crosses with Jesus. Do you know which one say to the Jesus, "Remember me in your kingdom," and which one marked to Jesus? I think the Orthodox all knows the answer, which one is which one. But in Taiwan, most people don't know which one. When I ask them, about 90 or 95%, they guess wrong. But in the iconography, does not demonize the wicked person. Iconography expresses the wicked person by draw one side of the face. So you can see one side of the face. The Roman soldier here also is one side of the face. Iconography is not only for painters and also to the viewers. Both will have good spiritual experience. But you will say, but this one is one side of a face. But how can we can tell this good person or not? Like the woman also like this. But usually we consider one side of a face is only see one eye. If we see two eyes, we don't consider it's a wicked person. But sometimes you can see many wicked people get together, but not everyone only see the one side of the face, only one eyes, because we must consider not like soldiers marching and salute, must also care about artistic beauty. And also in the book of John mentioned, because it was the day of preparation, so that the bodies should not stay on the crosses on the Sabbath. The Jewish leaders asked Pilate to have the victims' legs broken and the bodies taken down. So the soldiers came and broke the leg of the two men who had been crucified with Jesus, first one and then the other. So you can see here have two soldiers try to break these criminals. But when they came to Jesus and saw Jesus that he was already dead, they did not break his legs. This according to the book of John. For these things happened so that scripture will be fulfilled. Not a bone of his will be broken. So from this icon, this also mentioned in book of John. After this, Joseph of Arimathea, a disciple of Jesus, asked Pilate if he could remove the body of Jesus. Pilate gave him permission, so he went and took the body away. Nicodemus, the man who had previously come to Jesus at night, accompanied with Joseph, carrying a mixture of myrrh and arrows, weighing about 75 pounds. Then they took Jesus' body and wrapped it with the aromatic spices in strip of linen cloth, according to Jewish burial custom. Now at the place where Jesus was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden was a new tomb, where no one has yet. We will see here. You will understand more, because here mentioned the new tomb, where no one had yet been buried. And so, because it was a Jewish day of preparation and the tomb was nearby, they placed Jesus' body there. And when it was evening, they came the rich man from the Arimathea. This also Matthew mentioned this, named Joseph, this person. He who also a disciple of Jesus, he went to the Pilate before we mentioned, but from the Gospel, the different book also mentioned this. For the body Jesus, then the Pilate ordered that has been given to him. Joseph took the body, wrapped it in the clean linen clothes, and placed it in his own new tomb that he had cut in the rock. The soldiers here we see also mark to Jesus coming up and offering the vinegar and saying, "If you are the King of Jews, save yourself." And when they have crucified them, they divided his clothing, you can see here, by throwing dice. Then Jesus cried out again with a loud voice. Many people become a Christian. They always expect God show them the big miracle. But here we also see this is a big miracle, but no one pay attention, because when people dying, they don't have a power. They are so weak. But we know Jesus, when he died, he with a loud voice and give up his spirit. And then the temple curtain was torn into two. From the top of bottom, the earth shook, and the rocks were split apart, and the tombs were opened, and the bodies of many saints, here you can see they paint very small. The body of the many saints who had died were raised. There's an icon in our church, so in Taiwan. So you can see Jesus lying here. His beloved disciple John is here, and Arimathea, the Joseph and the Nicodemus is here, and the Holy Mother also following with her is many women. When we see Jesus on the cross, here they took him here, and not only we remember Jesus' death, of course also Jesus' resurrection and ascension. That's why we will see Jesus is here. The icon is beyond the time and space. Also we see the moon and star, the star and moon and sun here. Also, the Gospels evangelist is here. And from this icon, we can see Jesus closing his eyes. We know he's a real human being and a real God. Christ closing his eyes indicate his real death. And in this we see embrace of the victory. When Orthodox thinking of crucified Christ, we think not only of his suffering and this desolation, we think of him as Christ, the victor, Christ, the King, reigning in triumph from the tree, as heard in the first exorcism before baptizing. On the tree, the triumph over the powers which opposed him. When the sun was darkened and the earth was shaken, when the grave were open and the bodies of the saints arose. By death he destroyed death and brought to naught him who had the power of death. The Church teaches that Christ is the victorious King, not in spite of the crucifixion, but because of it. I call him a king because I see him crucified. This is by the John Chrysostom. Also, we see next. Christ, his face bent. We see Christ, his face bent toward the Mother of God, expresses rather a deep sleep in line with the dogmat truth, the incorruptibility of his body in death. Also, before we mention about the crucifixion, the cross is the fundamental symbol for the Christian, seen as the instrument of the words salvation by the crucified Christ, symbol of Christianity. Almost all the liturgical objects are decorated with iconography, engraving Christian symbols, and the sign of the cross, and each church building has at its highest point a cross. The cross is a central symbol for the Christians, not only as an instrument of the words salvation by the crucifixion Christ, but also as a constant witness that one cannot be Christian unless they live with the cross as very constant of their life in this world. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. This is from the book of Mark. The Holy Cross is a symbol of the New Testament victory over death and the intersection of the heavenly and the earthly. And finally, we will see this icon. But do you still remember before we mention the two criminals? Here we see the two criminals. Do you know their name? Their names are Justus and Dismas. This one is Dismas. This one is Justus. Justus, that means to complain or to mourn. Dismas means sunset or death. Which names you think is bad? Without thinking, of course, it's Dismas, because the sunset means into the darkness, and the death means no life. But when Dismas meets Jesus, he sees the true light shining upon him, and the death turns into eternal life. Thank you. Share with you. May God bless all of you.